Welcome back to the Productive Life podcast. In this episode, we're talking about how to create a morning and evening routine and stick to them. Welcome to the Productive Life podcast hosted by me, Megan Minns. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to be more productive in their business and their personal life. Because as a business owner, your business and personal life are connected, and we can't talk about one without talking about the other. Each week, you'll learn about productivity, organization, personal development, self-care, business strategies, and more. And now, let's get started. It's a sunny Tuesday afternoon. I'm sitting here in my home office in Houston, Texas, and it is truly a beautiful day. And I have admittedly not left the house. So that's fun. But that's the reality of working from home sometimes. So I'm super excited to be talking with you guys about how to create a morning and evening routine and stick to them today. I have struggled with waking up early and developing a routine for my entire life, pretty much. In high school, my mom had to, and middle school, let's get real, my mom had to wake me up for dance practice in the mornings by turning on the lights and helping me physically get out of bed. It was the worst. And then even in college, I always slept through my alarms. I never made it on time to 8 a.m. classes and very quickly had to learn that I just cannot even I just can't sign up for those. I'm not going to make it. Then when I started my corporate job after college in human resources, I would make it to work on time or maybe 5 minutes late, but the mornings were full of chaos. I was always scrambling, running late, snoozing through alarms. And then even as an adult working from home, I have been really reliant on my husband to wake me up in the morning. Again, just a chronic snoozer. I don't even hear the alarm and I snooze it. So it has always been a chaotic time for me. The mornings have never been my time. And I'm not proud of it. It's not how I want my day to start off. I totally know now, later in life, how important your mornings are, how much they set the tone for your day. And, even on the days where I would wake up when I wanted to, my morning routine wasn't super consistent. I didn't really know what I was doing. I felt like it was optional, and I felt like I would just do bits and pieces or none of it at all, and even just wake up and instantly start working. So I have been through it all. I just want you to know right off the bat that none of this advice is coming from someone who just is naturally a morning person and waking up early is easy for them. What I have found though is after several years of really being interested in having a good morning routine and actively working on how can I wake up when I want to and have the mornings that I want to, I found that if you have the right morning routine, you are doing the right things, then you start to realize that a morning routine isn't optional because you start to see how valuable those things are for your day and how it kind of becomes required in order to have an enjoyable and productive day. So I really want to bring that emphasis to having an enjoyable day because there's a lot of things you can do in the morning or not do and still get work done. You can still be productive. What I have found is that the morning routine really is what makes the difference between an enjoyable day, a day where I felt like I was flowing in the work I was doing, and a day where I felt satisfied at the end of the day with the work I had done and didn't feel like I was just laboring through my day. And I have probably been in denial of that. Even as much as I've been interested in morning routines, it's still been something that I kind of felt like was only happening on an ideal day and a day where I happen to wake up exactly when I want to. Now my perspective has completely flip-flopped where I have to have a morning routine happen. And yes, it might adjust, and we'll talk about that, but it has to be there or my day is kind of starting off on the wrong foot. So the past year in particular, I would say I've been really focusing on how to create a realistic morning and evening routine for me, how to stick to them. And I'm just excited to share this whole process with you because I feel really confident in my process now and the ability to have a morning routine that gives you enough structure to help you have a really enjoyable day, but doesn't get too strict, in which case it starts to kind of lose the whole purpose of it. So I do want to touch on that really quick. I do think that your morning routine should change periodically. I don't think you have to have one singular routine every single day to be successful. I think the routines should change and fluctuate based on what's going on in your life. So maybe you have a life situation that changes, maybe your priorities change, or maybe just the way you're feeling. Especially as women, we are cyclical creatures, and it is important to acknowledge that. And so maybe certain times of the month, your routine should look a little different than other times of the month, and really learning to listen to your body. So, anyways, I just wanted to preface with all of that information as we dig into this. So, I first like to start with creating a morning routine. You might not even understand why we have any evening routines, and that will become very clear in just a minute. But let's talk about how to create a morning routine first. So, step one is to list out everything you want to do in the morning. Get really clear. Do you want to meditate? Do you want to journal? Do you need to do certain things like unloading the dishwasher, refilling dog bowls? Do you need to work out or change and get ready for the day? Do you need to drop kids off? Do you need to make breakfast? List out all those different things that you want to do in the morning and also that you have to do in the morning. Then I want you to go through that list and prioritize them. So if you listed out 15 different things you want to do in the morning, just jot down in order next to it, put a number, and identify which of those are the top priority. Now, it doesn't mean they have to be in order of operations for how you spend your morning, but just what are the non-negotiables? What are the most important things that you know have to get done in the morning? Step three is to go line by line and assess how long each of those things take you to do. So maybe something like unloading the dishwasher takes you 5 minutes, but preparing breakfast takes you 30 minutes, and getting ready for the day takes 30 minutes. And I don't know, I'm just listing off things. Refilling the dog bowls takes 5 minutes. Meditating, is it a 5-minute meditation? Is it a 30-minute meditation? So go line by line and assess how much time you want to spend or have to spend on each of those items. Step four is a bit of a reality check, and we need to look at how much time you actually have in the mornings. So, what time do you wake up right now? And what time do you have to stop your morning routine? So, maybe that's when you leave to go to work, or maybe that's when you start work, whether you're at home or somewhere else, or who knows, whatever your day looks like, figure out how much time we have for this morning routine and see how that adds up to the list of things that you want to accomplish. So chances are you probably listed out things that add up to more time than you actually have in the morning. And that's okay. We have a few more things to keep doing that will fix that issue. But first, we have to acknowledge it and see how much of a discrepancy we have. If you just built out a 3.5 hour morning routine and you have 1 hour, then that's a pretty big discrepancy that we need to resolve. Okay, so in step five, we need to ask ourselves a few questions so that we can address this discrepancy. So, question number one is, can you wake up earlier? Realistically, there's probably a chance that you can wake up 30 minutes earlier than you are right now. Maybe some of you can wake up even earlier if this list is really important to you. But look at how things are right now and say, can I wake up any earlier? And do I want to wake up any earlier? So, if so, add that in, see how much extra time that gives you. Then we need to ask ourselves the second question. What on your list of things that you want to do in the morning can you do the night before? I know for me, I was doing a lot of things in the morning that really didn't have to happen that morning. Things like refilling the dog food and water bowls, filling the Keurig, taking out the trash, picking out what to wear. All of those things were things that I could do the night before that would not only make my mornings faster, but would legitimately remove at least 15 minutes just from those things. When you think about just the time it takes to do all the little tasks that you might do in the morning, if you just bumped those to the night before, you don't have to do that in the morning, and that's going to save you time. So the key here is that whatever on your list, make a note of the things that you are going to do the night before now, and go ahead and make, a new piece of paper, the other side of the paper, another note, whatever. Move those things to what is going to become your evening routine when we go through that exercise. So we are going to migrate things from your morning list to your evening routine. And similarly, are there things that you could do that maybe aren't even on this list you made, but that would save you time? So a pretty common one is if you are doing some packing of lunches in the morning, that you could probably do that the night before, or at least maybe meal prep or do elements of it the night before to help. Okay, so all of those are moved into your evening routine now. And the third question to ask yourself is, whatever is left on your list that doesn't fit in the time you have available, can you do it at another time in the day or potentially just not at all in the way your life is right now. This is where that priority list that we came up with should be really helpful. So if you are trying to squeeze in something that's a priority 5 and you can only fit 4 things in, then you might just have to see what your other options are with item number 5 on that list. So for you, if it's working out, maybe that's something you do right after work or you do during a lunch break, or maybe instead of doing it 5 times a week, you do it 2 times a week. So, life goes through phases and we can't always do everything in all of our phases, but we have to just make really intentional trade-offs with our time and make sure we're prioritizing what's really important to us. Okay, so now that you've answered those questions, you should have a list of things that you have to do in the morning that are high priority, that do fit in the time you have available. So, step number 6 here is to take that all together and actually build that into your morning routine. So, map out from exactly what time you're going to do each of those tasks. So this is where you really start to look at the tasks and put them in some kind of order that makes sense for you. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit more in a second, but it's okay if this order isn't totally perfect. We will refine it over time. But just thinking of your ideal morning, go ahead and put those tasks in an order that logistically makes sense, but also feels really good and fun, and you would look forward to it. A tip I have for this is to actually truly assign time. So maybe for me, one of my tasks is literally to wake up and go wash my face. I have that whole thing taking 15 minutes. Now, it doesn't actually take me 15 minutes to wash my face, but I know that my alarm going off, getting out of bed, putting on my robe, going into the bathroom, getting out my face stuff, getting the water hot, washing my face, doing my morning skincare routine, that really ends up adding to be 15 minutes for me. And this is where, again, we'll talk about how you refine this later, but don't just think about the one task. Think about kind of everything involved in doing that task and assign it that hour, or not that hour, but those minutes. So mine is literally 5 a.m. to 5:15 a.m. is wash my face. Then from 5:15 to X time, I have my next task. So you really want to make sure you're stacking it out so you can see exactly what you're doing in the morning and at what time you're supposed to be doing each thing. So now you have a morning routine. So we're going to circle back to this later. So stay tuned for how to actually stick to this morning routine. But before we can even get to that, we need to spend a few minutes talking about the evening routine. So why do we have evening routines? Let me just go ahead and address that really quick before we even get into the steps for building one. Basically, an evening routine is going to help expedite our mornings. Like we've already seen, there's things that maybe you're trying to do in the morning right now that you can actually do in the evening. So we are going to have an evening routine so that you know what to do before you go to bed every night. So you make sure you're getting those things done the night before. So on one hand, the evening routine helps you stick to your morning routine. So if you don't do this evening routine, you won't be able to do your morning routine. Do you see how they relate to each other? Also, an evening routine, though, is just going to make sure you're going to bed at the time you want to be going to bed and really just setting yourself up for success to have a really great night of sleep, to wake up when you want to, have a great morning, and have a great day. And it's going to be this beautiful cycle. Okay, so now let's dig into how to create that evening routine. Step 1 is to take that list you created from your morning routine exercise of things that you're going to do in the evening. Hopefully, then you already moved it to a new list, and that's where we're starting. But if not, just make sure you have that list of things that you're going to do in the evening to help your morning routine. Things like loading the dishwasher or refilling the dog bowl, setting out your clothes the night before, all that good stuff. Start with that list. And then step 2, we're going to add to it. So ask yourself, what could you do before bed to be more productive the next day? Now, we did a little bit of thinking on this in the morning routine exercise already, but I want to give you another chance here to just reflect on your day and think about what could you do in the evening that would give you a head start. Maybe you could plan the next day in your evening routine so that way you knew exactly what tasks to work on in the morning. Or maybe you could prep some food, load the dishwasher, throw your clothes in the laundry in the washing machine and have a delay start so it starts for you automatically the next morning. Maybe you need to do some journaling in the evening. Anything and everything that you've ever thought you might want to do in the evening to help expedite and have a happier day the next day, go ahead and add that to your list. Step 3 is to ask yourself, what are the things you want to be doing consistently but can't do in the morning? So maybe these are things from your morning exercise list where we went through and just realized it doesn't fit in right now. Or maybe it's things that you've just always wanted to do. Maybe you would like to read more. So maybe you could add, I want to read for 30 minutes to your list for your evening routine. Maybe you want to go through a course and learn something new. Maybe you want to even do something personal, have quality time with your family members. So add all of that to your list of things that you want to do. Step number 4 is to look at your list and decide how long each of these things are going to take you. Very similar to the morning exercise. Go line by line and ask yourself, how long does it really take you to get ready at night to do your evening skincare routine? How long does it take you to load the dishwasher, or all the things on your list? Go ahead and right next to it, list out how long each of those things are going to take you. Okay, then step 5, we need to work backwards into building an evening routine for you. So let's say based on the morning routine exercise, that you want to wake up and need to wake up at 5 a.m. to get your morning routine done. And let's say you want 7.5 hours of sleep every night. That means you need to be asleep at 9:30 p.m. And that's not getting into bed, getting ready for bed. That is eyes shut, you're asleep at 9:30. So maybe you need to be in bed for about 30 minutes before that, maybe reading if that was on your list, or maybe just you take a little bit of time to fall asleep. So you need to be in bed at 9 p.m. And then let's say the rest of your list takes about an hour. That means at 8 p.m., you need to start your evening routine. So this will vary a lot based on how much you put in your evening routine. If you have dinner and working out and anything like that in your evening routine, that's totally fine. Consider your evening routine whatever you want. Mine does not, just so you know, mine does not include dinner. Mine includes pretty much everything after dinner, really just a list of things to do before bed specifically. So mine doesn't include dinner because it's just me and my husband right now. Dinner is not like a super complicated thing, but we also just do takeout, if I'm being honest. But all the same, it can be however long you need. So just because I said an hour, yours could be 3 hours. It's truly whatever you need to do. But the key here is that we are working backwards to see when your evening routine needs to start. And step number 6 here is to build out that evening routine. Again, now we know when it's starting, build it out into those 5 to 30 minute chunks. So from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., you're supposed to be asleep, everything you're supposed to be doing and in what order you want to do it. Now, the order thing might seem kind of weird, but it's what's going to help you flow in the evening, develop habits, start doing these things without realizing it, and you won't have to think about it so hard. So we do want to have a general flow of how we're going to go about these evening routine tasks so that you know what to do first. And then you can be a little logical with it. So keep that in mind with your evening routine and build that out in 5 to 30 minute chunks of what you're doing from the beginning of your evening routine till when you fall asleep. Now, this isn't a step in the process like it is in the morning routine because most people have a little bit more flexibility in their evening routine. But if you run into an instance where you just have too much stuff that can't fit into the window you have, then again, we need to do an elimination. There's just certain things that aren't going to happen in every day of our lives and certain phases of our lives. We have less time, and that's okay. We don't need to feel bad about it, but you do need to go through and adjust. So, what are the things that just really aren't going to happen in the morning or in the evening? And I either have to find time during my day, or I just have to accept I'm in a phase of life where it's not going to happen. Or maybe you have alternating days where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you can, Thursday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Thursday you can't. Get a little creative there if you can. But there's also just things that maybe you just take less time. So maybe you can't read for 30 minutes in bed, but maybe you can read for 10 minutes. And hey, 10 minutes of reading is better than 0 minutes of reading. So see where you can make some adjustments if you need to, but also you maybe don't have to. You might end up in a place where it's totally great. And that's kind of how it was for me, where it was just like, I got to start doing this at 8 p.m. if I'm going to do it all. So that's kind of a good trigger. It really helps you not get sucked into the TV or Netflix at night. It's kind of tough because I know for me, at least 8 p.m. Central is when a lot of good TV is either starting or definitely still on. So, life, you can take those priorities and do what you want with them and prioritize something like that into your evening routine if you want. But the key here is that we know what time it starts and what you're doing before bed and what your actual bedtime is. Okay, so now you have your morning and evening routines. You know what you want to do, when you're going to do them. How do we stick to them? So I want to show you and tell you, my best tips for sticking to these routines. So the first thing you need to do is have a physical printed out version of these routines for every day of the week. So I do my routine Monday through Friday. I would love to do it every day of the week. I just let myself be more relaxed on Saturday and Sunday when I can. So I have 5 copies that I have printed out for each week, and I do double-sided. We're not trying to waste paper here. It's like 2 days per sheet of paper. But I do go ahead and print that out for the week so that I don't have to think about it midweek and print it out in the morning or, end of day. Let's just make our lives easier. I actually do have a free digital checklist for you for morning and evening routines. It's the exact same one I use. So it's morning and evening, and you can just print that out and you'll have enough for the whole week. And it's a Google Doc actually, which I love doing Google Doc templates because that means you can actually just copy it into your own Google Drive and customize it and start using it right away, or you can download it and use it as a Microsoft Word file. So whatever makes the most sense for you, let's just make sure you have a digital checklist. And if you are interested in just going ahead and downloading mine, so you don't even have to create your own template, just click the link below this podcast and you can opt in and get that right to your inbox today. So either way, you have your physical printed out copy of your routines now. And what I want you to do is make sure it is out and visible wherever you spend most of your time, especially where you start your day and end your day. So I actually carry mine around with me throughout the day. Well, really throughout the morning and the evening. So I have mine next to my bed in the morning. Then I take it with me when I go downstairs which is where our kitchen and living room are. And then whenever I'm doing my evening routine, I keep it down there because that's where I'm working on it. And then I carry it back upstairs with me at bed to do my evening routine. So I literally just move this paper with me throughout the day, but it's for a purpose. So not only is this going to give you a reminder of what you're supposed to be doing when, this is actually a piece of paper you want to be making notes on. I want you to be an observer of the way you're spending your time during these morning and evening routines. So I want you to really write on it. You'll see in my template, there's actually a space for you to check off the boxes, insert how long something took you to take, when you started and ended something. So I want you to really be observing. You had an idea in your mind of how long things took. So how long do these things actually take you to do on a pretty regular basis? Do you skip certain things when it comes to it? You just don't want to do it. So you scratch that off. Maybe you did things in a different order than you thought you would want to. So we're not just trying to come up with an idea in our head and stick to it and be really strict. I want you to really lean into what feels right in the morning. So maybe you really need that cup of coffee before you unload the dishwasher. Totally fine. Make that swap. Make a little note on that day and see if you do that 1 or 2 days in a row. And once you realize that that is truly a preference, make that adjustment in your digital version. Flip those around. Totally great. That's what we're doing. Also, be aware of what you skip. Maybe you just don't really want to do it in the morning, or you don't have to, or you can do it later, or you have to, and maybe it's where it falls in your workflow in your morning or evening that makes it hard to do. And make notes of, really importantly, things that take more time. Most often, things you estimate will take more time than you realize. So we want to realize how long it actually takes you. Can we cut that down, or do we need to cut something out? Or how can we expand your time as best as possible? But you'll never notice those things if you don't have this paper to be writing them down on and seeing a couple days in a row to really notice those patterns and their trends. I find that it usually takes like a week to really refine and get yourself into a pretty consistent workflow where you can use the same routine for several weeks or months in a row. But, I want you to be really flexible with yourself. I'm constantly updating mine. So if I notice for like a week that I'm really struggling to stick to my morning routine, or there's certain things that no longer really help me, then I will make those adjustments, and that's fine. Like, we don't need to be super strict here. So make adjustments, observe how you feel, how you're spending your time, make tweaks, do this all the time. So step number 1 is really just having that physical piece of paper to reference throughout your day, but also to observe and tweak as needed pretty much all the time, which is great. My second tip is to set reminders and alarms on your phone at key intervals so that you're on track in the morning and the evening. So I actually have an alarm. I do alarms because reminders are just way too easy to ignore. And I have alarms set for my phone. I don't do it for every single check mark on the list because that would be like 30 alarms, but I have it at key intervals for places that I tend to get stuck. So I'll notice that I will dilly-dally a little bit in the morning when I'm washing my face. So I have an alarm that goes off when it's time for me to go downstairs and unload the dishwasher, because otherwise I'll just waste 45 minutes. I don't even know how. So I have to be reminded to keep going. Keep it moving, Meg. Stop being so slow. So that's one really important interval for me. The next one is when it's time to sit down and journal, and then also when it's time to stop journaling. Because journaling, I love it. And I don't necessarily think you always have to put a limit on things, but I got to keep the morning going, and I could really go off the deep end with the journaling. So I at least have that alarm there so I can make an intentional decision in that moment if it would serve me to make adjustments and keep journaling, or if I need to wrap it up. So whatever that is for you, especially in the evening, I find that evening routines, you got to have an alarm to go off when it's time to start and when it's time to actually get in bed and do some of those things, because otherwise it is just so hard to stop watching Netflix. It really is. My third tip is to put your lights, like the lights in your house, on a timer. Now, you don't have to have super expensive light bulbs. You can get pretty affordable, what are they called? Like plugs to put into your outlets that you can plug anything into. But if you can, they're not too expensive on Amazon. But if you can, try to put some of your lights on a timer, because as great of a reminder as the alarm on your phone is, a physical environment change is like you can't deny it. Anyone that you live with also knows it's happening. It's time to shift gears. So I do it in a few different ways. I have a lamp in my bedroom that is on a timer, and it goes off, and you can customize it for the days. So mine is like Sunday night through Thursday night. It goes off when I'm supposed to be falling asleep, or even a few minutes sooner than that when I need to be in bed. So if it goes off and I'm not in bed, it's dark, and that's inconvenient, but I also know it's time for me to really get in bed really quick. So I have it go off when it's time to go to bed. And I also have it go on about 1 minute before my alarm goes off. So that way, when my alarm goes off, it's already bright in my room, and I can't deny that it's time to wake up. And I also have one on timer in our living room. So when I'm doing the evening routine, that's a tough one for me to stick to. Like I said, it's so easy for me to get stuck in YouTube or social media or Netflix, if we're being so honest. I love watching movies and TV shows on Netflix. So I have a light in our living room next to our couch that's on a timer that goes off when I need to be it's not right when I need to be starting my evening routine, because I want the light on while I'm doing that, but it's when I need to go upstairs and do that part of my evening routine in the bedroom. So if it goes off and I'm downstairs, it's a very undeniable trigger that it's like, oh, wow, I really got to get a move on. I snoozed that alarm on my phone, and now there's no excuse. I've got to go up now if I want to make my bedtime and wake up when I want to. And you kind of see the whole ripple effect there. So definitely, if you can, put your lights on a timer. And even if you have one of those old school timers like that our parents all use, those are great. That's fine. You don't have to do a smart one if you don't want to. But putting them on a timer has been huge for me. And my last tip is to adjust day to day. So we're not striving for perfection here. We're never going to be perfect. If you try to be perfect, this morning routine is not going to be a joyful, fulfilling thing. It's going to become like really burdensome and heavy. And that's not realistic. And also, I've said this a few times already, but as women, I just believe that we are cyclical, and our energy level is going to change day to day. What our bodies are going to need like more sleep, less sleep, are going to change week to week. So that's okay. Let's lean into the fact that we're human and not try to hold ourselves to some crazy, perfect morning routine or evening routine, and make those adjustments. So listen to your body, listen to if there's any patterns in certain weeks of the month where you need more sleep, or maybe just life means you need more sleep, a certain phase of life right now, or really day to day where it's going to be the most practical is listening and observing your time. So if you did not go to bed on time, you're probably going to have to make an adjustment. I would say for 1 or 2 days in a row, you can get less sleep and wake up when you want to, but you are going to feel it. And I can speak from experience because I actually did that the past 2 nights. I stayed up too late, and then I woke up at the same time, and now I'm exhausted. So definitely something you can do once or twice, but you cannot make a habit out of it. It will really lead to burnout or sickness or unhappiness or all of the different issues that lack of sleep can give you. So you have to listen. So what I do on days when I don't get enough sleep, or if I've noticed a pattern where I'm just getting worse sleep or not had enough quality, not enough time, whatever the reason, I have kind of an abbreviated version of the morning routine. Now, I actually, just to be super honest, don't have a separate printable for it, but I know in my head what are the things that I can strike off. Unloading the dishes for me, yeah, I can totally not do that, and we will all be fine. Or, putting on makeup in the morning, or changing clothes, or, reading in the evening, all those kind of things. I know what I can take off the list and still have remaining items there that are going to give me big bang for my buck on my time. So know what your most basic version or an abbreviated version of these routines look like so that you don't have to totally lose all structure, but can have an adjusted one. So if I really need more sleep, if we stay up really late for whatever reason, maybe we had social plans or a concert and I have work the next day, then I know I can sleep in, an extra hour, but that means I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to have to adjust my expectations for the morning. So that's really the best tip I have for sticking to these routines is not just letting them completely go away, but adjusting day to day as needed based on how much sleep you need, what adjustments need to be made, all that fun stuff. Okay, so now you have a morning routine, an evening routine, and you have all the tools you need to be able to stick to them. So don't forget to download that free morning and evening routine template checklist for you. It's that editable Google Doc. You can get the link to that below this podcast and start using it instantly. But I'd love to hear from you what you thought about this episode. If you are using it, creating your own morning and evening routines, I would love to hear from you on Instagram. My handle is Megan, MEGAN _Mins, MINNS. And I would love to hear from you and share that on my Instagram stories too. So just be sure to tag me. I hope you have a wonderful evening routine tonight, hopefully, whenever you're listening to this, and a great one tomorrow. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Productive Life podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much to me if you would share your biggest takeaway on your Instagram stories or wherever you hang out online. This helps me understand what you find the most helpful so that I can make more episodes like this one. If the Productive Life podcast has helped you at all, please take just 1 minute to leave a review on iTunes so that we can help spread the word about the productive life with others who may enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to get the latest episodes sent directly to you. To learn more about having a productive life and business, as well as getting access to lots of freebies, blog posts, trainings, templates, workshops, and more, be sure to go to meganmins.com. I'll see you in the next episode.